Okay. So, hi, good morning or good evening, good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Prerna, your host and your moderator for today and part of the ECOP program, training and mentoring task team. So, for those who are not familiar with the early career ocean professional network, it's a program which is at the heart of the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development and was endorsed by the UN Ocean Decade as a network program in 2021. Our mission is to elevate and strengthen the diverse perspectives of new generations of ocean professionals through a collective voice, ensuring that knowledge is transferred between experienced and early career ocean professionals to promote ocean sustainability for the ocean we want. As part of the knowledge we want to share among future professionals and professionals, we developed a series of webinars that aim to train and inform this community of ocean lovers. And today we are excited and super interested for this webinar. It's our 26th episode. So our speakers will be talking about something interesting called the Brillant Blue Challenge, which is a global ocean innovation competition for students. And we will actually, through this webinar, we will get to know how the program is aimed at sparking youth creativity and how other stakeholders like us as ECOPs can help in shaping the next generation of ocean leaders. So I just want to let you guys know, the audience, to that you guys can write your questions in the chat whenever we want, in the chat or in the Q&A section. And yes, so before we start the meeting, let's actually just get to know some of us here. So I'll just send out a poll so you guys can fill it out. Yeah. Okay, we have folks from Central America and Asia. I guess it depends on like the timing. I think that sort of is important. Mm, yeah. Okay. I think the poll questions can go on for a um, while we wait for some more folks to join in. But yeah. So I would like to actually introduce our speakers today. It's Omar and Mayar. So Omar is the program director at Brillant Labs and a trained computer scientist with a passion for empowering youth through inclusive STEM education and workforce development. Originally from abroad and now based in Canada, he brings experience in entrepreneurship, management, and community engagement. Omar currently leads the Brilliant Blue Challenge, applying his expertise to foster innovation, equity, and opportunities for young people in science and technology fields. And we have Mayar. She is a passionate advocate for global health and education, currently pursuing a Bachelor of Science at Dalhousie University. She serves as a competition coordinator for Brillant Labs, where she leads event planning, stakeholder engagement, and team recruitment for the competition. And she's also the former participant for the Brilliant Blue Challenge. So we have a lot to learn from her. Deeply committed to volunteerism and nonprofit work, Mayar brings strong leadership, communication, and scientific curiosity to every initiative she joins, striving to create meaningful community driven impact. So, Omar and Mayar, welcome. And Omar, would you like to? We could actually get started with the presentation whenever you're ready.
Sounds good. Thank you, Prerana and ECOP's team for this opportunity. Share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Good.
So hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As Prerana mentioned, the Brilliant Blue Challenge is a global ocean innovation competition, primarily for students aged 12 to 18, with a focus on high school students that serves as an early talent pipeline to the blue economy. It's not an awareness program. It's not just an awareness program, I should say. It's a workforce development program. So, what we're trying to do differently is that we want to create pathways for them, academic through scholarships, career through internships, and connections with incubators if they choose an entrepreneurial journey. The Brilliant Blue Challenge is a program of Brilliant Labs, the largest STEM education charity on the East Coast of Canada. Um, Brilliant Labs is focusing on everything STEAM education, entrepreneurial education, and empowering everything social innovation as well within youth. As STEM education providers, we didn't want to guess what the industry needs. This is why we formed the steering committee from the very beginning, from some of the key stakeholders in Canada. So we had people from the federal government, provincial governments, academia, industry. We got the endorsement of the UN Ocean Decade so that we design a program that makes sense on the other side. They help, for example, inform the categories of the competition. So we're starting with three categories for the competition. We have marine renewable energy, marine autonomous systems, and healthy marine life. The journey usually goes as follows. So students would form a team, register, and choose a category. We ask them to come up with a solution, a prototype, and a business plan in while they're tackling the problem statement of the category. And we connect them with subject matter experts as mentors to help guide them as they develop their solutions. If they come up with really good solutions, we don't want to put them on the shelf. We want to connect them with incubators to take their solution to the real world. If they don't reach this level, that's totally fine. They learn a lot, and we want to offer them other pathways, academic through scholarships and industry through internships. We have a growing community globally. We're expecting participation this year from around 40 countries around the world. And we're having different partnerships across the world so that we make sure that we grow our reach one region at a time. The plan for this year is that we're bringing the first hybrid global competition. So for the last 2 years, our competition was fully virtual. This is the first year that we will have our first hybrid competition. It will take place in Nova Scotia, Canada in October. And again, as mentioned, we're expecting around 40 countries to be involved this year, preceded by national competitions around the world. We just had our first national in Canada last weekend, and we're expecting national competitions between 10 and 15 nationals around the world this year. All of them will be qualifying to the global competition in October. Our vision is an ocean education hub where we have during school programs, teachers training, summer camps, competitions, hackathons. But as I mentioned, also, it's not just about ocean education and literacy. We really want to make sure that we create pathways for the students after the competition or the program that they go through. Ideally, we want to make sure that we create pathways for them in academia, in industry, in the startup ecosystem. And we started getting some very good traction in the media. Mayar, who's going to speak to you shortly, has been all over the news as well. A lot of interest from the media of the journeys of the youth and what they have accomplished so far. And we have been heavily supported by different levels of governments in Canada and private sector as well. We're always looking for partners and for collaborators around the world who will be interested in supporting our mission. So we're actively looking for judges and mentors. So usually judges would dedicate some time prior to the competition and on the day of the competition, making sure that they go through the judges' rubrics and make sure that they have they give the best advocacy for the students who worked on the solutions and their projects as well. And as I mentioned, we don't expect any previous background from the students or their mentors. So this is why we're recruiting volunteer mentors as well, who are subject matter experts to help guide the students as they develop their solutions, make sure that they give them the right guidance and maybe point them in the right direction as they look for more research and more findings and more data as well as they develop their solutions. So if any of you are interested in becoming a judge, a mentor, or if you want to support the program in any other way, I would love to stay in touch. And this is my email and contact information. Would love to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. I think this is a really interesting competition, and I'm sure people will be interested to be a part of it, motivate children through mentoring and judging. I would like to ask if Mayar, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and present your work?
Yep, I'm ready here. If you just want to bring it up, Priyana, that'd be great.
I will do that.
But while you do that, I'll give a little bit of an introduction. So my name is Mayar, and I was a student who took part of this exact competition. I took part of it in its inaugural year in 2023. And this year, I am the national and international conference coordinator for the Brilliant Blue Challenge with Brilliant Labs. So yeah, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through how I took part in the challenge and how it got me where I am today, and how I achieved so many of my personal life goals by partaking in the challenge. Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and click next slide, perfect. So let's begin by giving just a brief introduction, as I'm sure Omar already did, on Brilliant Labs and Brilliant Blue. But Brilliant Labs is an Atlantic Canadian charity that supports youth, educators, and community leaders. They focus on creativity, innovation, digital skills, and most importantly, socially and environmentally responsible entrepreneurship. It's all in hopes of having a future where youth can help shape a better tomorrow, which is something that we really need to focus on today. But yeah, next slide. The Brilliant Blue competition is a global STEM competition. So it focuses on ocean industries, and it helps connect youth with academia and industries. The three main goals of the Brilliant Blue Challenge is to, one, empower youth, support ocean industries, and lastly, contribute to the blue economy in a positive way. Next slide. In its inaugural year, which is the year I took part of the Brilliant Blue Challenge, it consisted of 22 teams, 99 students, and overall a virtual format. We are hoping from now on to have it held in a hybrid format for the global competitions. And it's in its very first competition of the Brilliant Blue Challenge, we had a very global reach. We had 14 countries, to be exact, take part in the competition. And during the inaugural year, we also received strong industry support from all the organizations listed on the slide, but most importantly from Innovacy and Cook Aquaculture. Next slide. So this diagram here is just how to participate for teams and also how to get involved if you are wanting to be a mentor or a judge or a teacher advisor and wanting to create your team. So the first step, as you can see on the bottom left, is just attending some sort of session that tells you a bit about the challenge, an information session, things like that, which you're all here doing today. So that's one step done. The next step is to form a team of 2 to 5 students. We say one advisor, but it could be 1 or 2 advisors. 1 advisor is more than enough. But yeah, with the help of the advisor and the teams are then able to choose a category, which I'll get into depth, more in depth into in a second, but they choose a category and then they register. And that goes the same for judges and mentors as well. Registration for judges and mentors is opened at around the same time that registration for teams is open. And yeah, that's where you submit just like housekeeping information about your team or why you want to mentor or why you want to judge, things like that. And along the way, so we are hoping that the international competition will be in October. From now until then, or from when you register until then, teams are working on a prototype, and that's where mentors are really important. The list of mentors will be given to the teams, and then they will get in touch with the mentors, where the mentors will give feedback to the teams in hopes of helping them build that solution or build that prototype to present on the big day. And then they compete, and last but not least, they also will get the help of the judges the day of to help assess and evaluate their solution and their prototypes and make sure that their ideas fit with their category and have a good impact on the industry. And next slide, perfect. So now let's discuss the judges and mentors. I already mentioned them a couple of times. So mentors are really just the heart of the student experience. They guide teams throughout the challenge. So they help shape their ideas from beginning to end. They let the students ask the right questions. They help them navigate the real world problems because they're industry experts. So they give the industry insight. They provide that technical knowledge, and they also navigate in that encouragement that the teams need when they're presenting on the big day. So they really make sure that the teams feel supported from start to finish. Judges, on the other hand, they help evaluate the team's final solution. So they assess the creativity of the solution, the practicality of the solution, as well as its impact on the real world, and how well it aligns with the category that the teams chose. And then last but not least, the mentors and judges together just really provide that meaningful and empowering experience for the students. So like I said, mentors shape the journey, and then judges help put that spotlight on their outcome and on their overall experience. And then their involvement not only validates the students' efforts, but it also helps inspire the confidence that they need, the growth that they need, as well as the real connection to the ocean-related careers that they hopefully will be able to pursue by partaking in this. Next slide. So here's a brief timeline of what happens from now until the end. And I really want to highlight mostly on specific deliverables that are submitted by teams and that are being given to the judges that the mentors help them create and things like that. So after you register, the teams are required to choose a category from the 3 that I will introduce in the next slide. But they also will submit this information in their proposal that is due shortly after they register, which just tells us their team's name, their prototype name, what category they are, things like that. And then they submit, they're logging into a logbook throughout the experience. So the project logbook is to be submitted just shortly prior to the competition day. And that just tells the judges how consistent the team was, how they really stuck through from beginning to end. And that goes same for the business plan and the prototype presentation, which they will be presenting on the actual day. Next slide. So these are the categories that Omar touched a bit on in his part of the presentation. But yeah, the 3 categories we have are marine renewable energy. So this is a category where teams will conceptualize a power generator that is environmentally friendly. We have marine autonomous systems, which is when teams will create a system that helps explore the depth of the oceans. These are just small descriptions that we have for the categories. They're much broader than what I'm describing right now. But healthy marine life is the last one, and it's when a team will develop a solution that improves the quality of the ocean's water or the ocean's health. Next slide. So this slide is just a little bit about what support is offered to the teams. So it goes from things like competition guide, resource pages for each different category. There's also some project funding at times for Atlantic Canadian teams. We also have templates that teams use. And for judges, there's rubrics that they assess teams with. And then, of course, industry resources like a list of the mentors that will be given to teams. Next slide. So now I'm just going to be connecting all the information I gave by giving you a firsthand experience, which was my experience as partaking in the 2023 competition. So as mentioned in the beginning, I took part in the inaugural competition alongside my team. We called ourselves the Micro Sea Solutions. There's a picture of us. There are 2 pictures of us on this slide. So today I'm going to discuss a little bit about the recognition that I received and the experiences my team and I saw throughout the competition from before, during, and after. Next slide. So our project was called the Sea Hive. It was a micro ecosystem that aimed to enable the use of multi-trophic aquaculture in hopes of aiding a decrease in seafood contamination, specifically the decrease of the accessibility of seafood in our community, which is a coastal city in the east coast of Canada. So the Sea Hive, which is at the bottom of the screen, is a controlled environment. It was a micro ecosystem where we had mussels on one side and mussels and seaweed on the other side. And after tweaking with the water exchange rates and the quantities of shellfish that we had in our prototype, we were able to find a balance that proved to keep the environment of the Sea Hive, of the water within the box, to show higher water quality as compared to the outside of the water, as well as the side with only the mussels. So the side with both seaweed and mussels showed the highest water quality. We managed to get to this conclusion by conducting many tests of both the 2 different compartments and as well as the exterior water. And we did this through water test strips, which tested for CO2 levels, alkalinity, dissolved oxygen levels, concentration of other organic material and metal compounds, things like that. We also used Pasco probes like pH sensors and refractometers to really stake and prove our results were valid. Next slide. So yeah, now let's talk about how my team and I made this happen and how, just like the timeline I gave you in the beginning, how we truly just got through that road and made it to the final destination. So we initially connected with a teacher advisor who helped immensely throughout the experience. We have not been able to do it without him. So it was really important that we had that teacher advisor to guide us throughout the entire competition. So from there, the 3 of us, with the help of the advisor, of course, registered for the competition, and we met regularly for about a 4-month span. So we started in August and the competition was in December that year. So yeah, we registered in August and we met weekly, once a week throughout that month and the beginning of the fall semester. And as soon as school started, we began doing our research. We did it during summer briefly, where we chose like the category and the issue we wanted to solve. But during the September-October period is when we really decided to focus and brainstorm what we wanted to do. And that's also when we met with mentors who were subject experts in the industry. And that list was given to us by the Brilliant Blue team at the time. And we reached out, had one-on-one calls with the mentors. They helped us with the initial planning of our Sea Hive, as well as the execution of the prototype. And then we also split up the workload amongst the 3 of us. So we had multiple deliverables that I mentioned before, like the business plan and the presentation and the things like that, and the prototype design and all that we split up amongst all of us and we tackled at the end together. And then finally, we just waited for the big day and presented our solution, and we were able to place in that competition where we won the award for Productive Oceans, which was really impressive for us, as we really did put our all into it, and we're really happy that we were able to get that recognition. Next slide. So now it brings us to after the competition. My team and I gained lots of recognition within our community as well as on a national scale. So we were contacted initially by Cook Aquaculture, and we were given a day trip to all their facilities in Nova Scotia, Canada. And it was a great experience where we were able to truly see what it's like to be on the field. We also had the opportunity to be on CBC News and discuss our accomplishments by partaking in the Brilliant Blue Challenge. It was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it was a first-time experience for all of us to be on the news. And then 6 months after the competition, my team and I received external scholarships to hopefully take our prototype further. So we received the funding, and then we were also congratulated by the Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia at the time. And then last but not least, I remained connected with Cook Aquaculture and was able to land a summer internship with them. It lasted for a 4-month time span. And it was such an amazing experience where I really got to work alongside with professionals in the field. I got to have some hands-on experience that is very limited to students today, and not everyone gets to experience that. So I was very thankful. And I was also able to discuss my prototype with those experts while partaking in my internship. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without getting that recognition of partaking in the challenge in the first place. So now that I've gotten the opportunity to be on the front line, so partaking in the competition, and then now being on the back end, organizing the competition for future generations, it really is just a surreal experience. I find it really passionate. I'm really passionate about being able to help the future generations and give them the same opportunities that I received, and hopefully more than that. And so, yeah, being able to be on both sides was super important and super helpful. So I was able to use the experience that I had in hopes of making the experience even more impactful for future teams and future participants. And then the last housekeeping thing that I wanted to discuss is just future opportunities that students like myself that did partake in it can experience. So the main thing I wanted to focus on, there's a list on the screen there, but the main one that I wanted to focus on today is just the Global Collaboration Hub. So because the competition is international, the students are able to connect with other students in the field on a bigger and global scale. So that network possibility is endless and super important to be used. So after the competition, teams are added into an alumni network where they're able to connect with other teams who perhaps had the same marine issue that they were trying to solve. So this is all in hopes of just making sure that teams are able to collaborate with each other and solve these issues together. And that's all I have for today. So now I'm just going to open the floor to any questions that you might have. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for being here today and taking the time to listen to me and Omar discuss the competition. And I really do look forward to seeing you all, whether it be as a judge, as a mentor, as a teacher advisor, registering your teams, things like that. And in the chat, I'll add the website link. I'm sure there's access to it given to you guys by the ECOPS team, but I'll just put it in the chat, as well as the email that you can reach out to if you have any questions about the challenge, wanting to sign up as a mentor, as a judge, or anything like that. So that's everything on my end. Thank you so much, Karana, for giving me the time to discuss my experience.
Thank you so much, Mayar. I think congratulations on all the scholarships and the exposure. I wanted to actually, we could kick off a Q&A by just like getting to know what was your process of finding the research problem. Was it something that all of you guys were interested in and then were looking for the advisor, or was it like a collaborative process with the advisor?
Yeah, so This was when I was in grade 11, so we didn't have that much exposure into the fields at all, especially in like a regular traditional academic setting. We weren't really given that hands-on exposure. And so I was part of an international baccalaureate program. So a requirement of that program to graduate is to do a activity in which I'm aiding on a global scale. And so a teacher at my school told us about the competition and told us that there was a teacher in the school that wanted to be an advisor, and if we were interested we could join his team. And so my advisor never taught me in a classroom at all. I never ran into him because our school was super big, so whenever that experience was given to us, we decided to, yeah, let's go reach out to this advisor and see if we can be a part of his team. So the three of us were friends and we went to this advisor. We told him our interests in partaking in it, and we did just that. So we signed up with him, and it was his first time being an advisor for this competition. It was also the first time of the competition ever. So we registered as a team, and then summer break hits, and that's when I had to go abroad back home to North Africa, which is where I'm from. And so being in touch was super tricky. Doing all the research on our own was super difficult because of the time difference. It would be 3 a.m. when we'd be on call trying to figure this out for me. So yeah, it was a bit difficult, but we decided to persevere through that. And then as soon as we got back to school in September of the fall term, that's when we decided to really focus on finding an actual solution that we wanted to tackle. And we actually didn't know where we wanted to take our prototype or what problem we wanted to solve until we met with a mentor who was a professional aquaculture farmer in our area. He was about 3 hours away from where we lived. So we got on a call with him, and he told us about the issues that him and other farmers in our area were experiencing, which was the decline in mussel and seaweed in our ocean, and how the health of the mussels was affecting the contamination in our waters. And so we decided to try to tackle that. So we did a lot of research and we decided to create the prototype, and that's what led us to choosing it.
Wow. So I think it's like a beautiful synergy between the advisor and the students' motivation.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, so
Same goes,
folks in the
yeah.
chat. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, same goes for like reaching out to a mentor, because that idea was all just given to us by the mentor. And then same goes for the judges who really just gave us that feedback that we needed to improve the Sea Hive the day of. So yeah.
So yes, guys, we could ask all questions to Mayara and Omar. If you guys think it's interesting to be a judge or a mentor or in the competition, or collaborate with students that you guys are currently advising, make teams and participate in the challenge. Did we look at some questions? Is it at the start of the year or is it now?
Yeah. So national competitions usually take place between April and August, and they would qualify to the global competition in October. Depending on if the country has a national competition or not. So if there's a national, they would need to go through their timelines and their deadlines. If they don't have a national, the students can participate directly at the global competition, and the deadline for registration would be early September this year.
Early September this year. Okay. All right. And are there like any particular criteria? Because you mentioned something like a rubric for being a judge or an advisor. So, what does the criteria look like in general?
So it's always useful to have different perspective on the judges panel. So when we're talking about judges, judges usually represent academia, industry, the startup ecosystem, and the blue economy. So it's usually a mix of practitioners, academics, and professionals. And ideally it would be in one of the three categories of the competition. So again, marine renewable energy, marine autonomous systems, and everything ocean tech. And the healthy marine life is where we have primarily projects related to marine conservation, sustainable aquaculture, and fisheries. So in those fields in particular, there is no selection criteria for advisors or youth or the students. Primarily, the only criteria is their age group. They need to be
Okay.
between 12 and 18 years old and have an adult advisor. Their advisor are usually their teacher, but it could be a parent, could be community leader, an industry professional. Doesn't really matter.
Mhm. Amazing. So guys, I'm gonna just run a quick poll to see if you guys would love to um, engage with Omar and Mayar directly and be a part of, if you have any questions regarding um, participate in the challenge. So I'm hoping you guys can see it. Are you guys able to see it? No?
No.
Mm. Yeah, no. Perfect. Um, yes, I have like a very quick question. Um, would um could like so if I sign up for being an advisor without a team of students, like will I be connected to students through you guys, or like how does that work if I'm not in touch with like any students, if I'm not in a teaching space, but I still want to be a mentor?
Great question. So I think we always try to differentiate between the advisor and the mentor. So the advisor is the team's usually again the team's teacher. We don't expect them to have any background in the blue economy. Uh,
Mhm.
and this is why we started the program, because teachers and students worldwide usually have no idea about the blue economy. So that's the advisor, but mentors are on the other hand, they are subject matter experts that they want to give guidance if the students need help as they develop their solution. So in that case, Prerana, you'd sign up as a mentor if you're interested.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, well, folks in the attendees, participants, would you guys have any questions for Omar and Mayar? You guys can like unmute and just ask away, or just type it out in chat.
And if there are no questions yet, so maybe I can also share that as you can imagine, we need all hands on deck. We need
Mhm.
partners in academia, in industry, in the startup ecosystem. In academia, there are many opportunities that we can engage with different academic institutes through micro credentials, scholarship opportunities. But also, as we develop curriculum, we need help from academic institutes to help us fill in the gaps on the technical level as we develop those curriculum for different educational systems. There are many ways that we can engage with industry. Obviously, we're actively looking for summer internships for the students. It could be in person. Ideally, it would be virtual. depending on the region and the employer. We're also looking, there are ways that we can work with them on training modules and working with and a collaboration between an industry leader, an academic institute, and our program. We'd love to find this and fill in this gap between academia and industry as well. As Mayar mentioned, there are many ways that incubators and accelerators can help support those young entrepreneurs as well. There are many ways, but we need all hands on deck. So this is a call out for any potential partners who would be interested, or if you know of potential partners, please reach out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Omar. Folks, any questions? Well, I could actually ask one question. So for example, Mayar's solution was tech-based in a way. So would solutions be okay if they're just like a theory of change model, or and will those kinds of proposals be accepted, or is it particularly for like developing small prototypes and more tech-based?
I can take that one, and Mayar, if you want to follow up as well. So I would argue that Mayar's project was not as tech-based than others. So, and this is why we didn't want to go only for ocean tech and tech-based solutions. How about those who are interested in marine biology? How about those who are interested in renewable energy, right? So we wanted to have, and we're expanding different, to bring more categories to be more inclusive and have more reach as well. So the main point is that we wanted to push the students to their limits, that we asked them to come up with a solution, a prototype, a business plan. If their solution is good to be realized and they get supported in the real world, that's awesome. If not, we've pushed them to their limits, and this is where they learn. So this is why we really, regardless of whether they want to be entrepreneurs or not, there's a lot of skills developed through the entrepreneurship journey. So it can be transferred to any field of study or career that they want to choose, right? So this is why we require that they do those different parts of the programs and push them towards a solution. And this is how they learn best, right? I hope this answers your question.
Oh, yes, it does. It does. Wow, this is quite interesting actually for me. Can already start thinking of so many ideas. But folks, if you guys have any questions, just type it away. Can I know what's your process of reaching out to schools? If you present this idea, the challenge to schools, and is there like a geographic focus? Because for example, from where I come from, we hardly talk about this in schools, and that affects on the kind of career path they take. So yeah, just if you could shine some light on how that process looks like.
And I don't think it's just where you come from or where, in a specific region, that there is a lack of awareness and opportunity. This is everywhere. This is in even the most advanced ocean hubs around the world. Students, we realize that students have no idea about the blue economy, even in coastal communities around the world. So this is why we started the program, right? So the outreaches can happen in many ways. It could be through direct connection with specific school, ministries of education, specific teachers or teacher groups, student networks. But also, this is why we're looking into a model to make sure that we are scalable and reach as many students and teachers as possible through partnerships. Ideally, we want to have a national competition in as many countries as possible, because it comes with a lot of opportunities as well. A partner in Finland, for example, wants us to work on uh, arts with related to the ocean and storytelling and the cultural aspects of it. We
Correct.
wouldn't consider it unless we have those conversations with those partners and have partners around the world. So the more the merrier, and ideally we want to make sure that we start with a competition model around the world, and then look into during school programs and other aspects as well.
Excellent. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, you guys could reach to Omar and Maya directly. And also please to visit their website, which has a lot of information. The website is in the chat. Yes, I think, yeah, thanks Omar for sharing the website again. Great. So if we do not, are there any more information that you guys would like to share? Any upcoming other webinars that people can still attend? Or any final things before, yes,
Bayar?
before closing?
Yeah, so if there's any webinars, which I'm sure there will be scheduled before registration for the international begins, they will be posted on our website. So make sure you're very active on the website for any updates. Yeah, so webinars, we really want to push as many webinars out just to get some eyes on the competition, both for like other national competitions to be held in other countries than we already have, or whether it be just people viewing our international competition and just watching it from wherever they are, things like that, or receiving any partners, anything like that. So yeah, there will be lots of webinars soon, and best place to know about those webinars would be our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mayar. Thank you, Omar. I think this was a really good webinar info session. And yes, I think we could say goodbye to all our attendees. Please do reach out to Omar and Mayar for any questions. I think this is a great opportunity to collaborate with people from around the world and just like work on oceans if you see yourself working in that space. All right. Thank you so much, Mayar. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.